So the other thing with terminology is that the job description may have keywords that they are used numerous times in the job description that you don't have in your CV. So for example, the job description may have keywords like problem solver, analysis, or team player used repeatedly. If you don't have those words in your CV, even if you are a team player or you're good at analysis, and you're good at problem solving, but the fact that those words are not in your CV, you'll also not be a match, right? Because it's comparing your CV to the job description and you're not matching, you don't have those keywords. So those are just examples of keywords. So look out for things that are, in the job description that are not there in your CV, and they use numerously. So I think in terms of then how do you get about doing it? I mean, job descriptions are like a couple of pages, right, in most instances. And also your CV is a couple of pages. So going around reading word for word is time consuming. So there's a website that I've used sometimes when applying. It's called JobScan, right? I'll write it down as well. JobScan, I'll put the link to this video as well. So if you go to JobScan, what you do, you go there, you scan your CV, so the system will have your CV there, and then you copy the job description and you paste it there, and then you say scan. So what it does, it will scan the job description and also against your CV, and it will give you results on what is missing in your CV versus the job description. And it will give you a percentage on what percentage are you a match, So you want to obviously be, above 80% match, I would say, for you to be even called for an interview, be a match versus that job description. And it will give you tips as well, things like, you don't have your phone number or email address or address even on the CV. So if it's a job where for example, the job is posted in Cape Town and you're in Johannesburg or Durban, and one of their requirements is that you must already be in Cape Town and you don't have your address there, so it won't know where are you located, for example, and it might just reject you because of that, as an example. So what JobScan does is that it will give you tips on how to improve your CV versus the job description, and it will also highlight to you what keywords are missing in your CV versus the job description, and it also shows those that are there, right? Sometimes you're using too many of the same word versus the job description, but that's fine. And sometimes it would be also the experience, because that's in the requirements, the experience, yours versus the job description. For instance, it might highlight that you've got too much experience versus the job description, or it might highlight that we're not seeing the experience or the qualification as well. If the job description specifically says you need to have an undergraduate degree and you've put your degree, there, or just a diploma, etc., it will highlight those things. And sometimes you need to say undergraduate degree, BCom, for ATS to pick up that you do have that. Just as an example, it's very finicky. So for example, even if the keyword is analyzing and you've got analysis in your job description, it might also not pick it up. So yeah, it's good to use a tool like JobScan. There might be others, I'm only aware of JobScan, just to help you do those analysis. It saves you time, I would say. And then you can, do the corrections, and it allows you to rescan once you've done the corrections as well. Obviously, this is not to encourage you to lie and add things to your CV that are not there. It's really just meant to highlight things that are in the job description that you might have, but you have missed, right? And make sure that you're highlighting things that are relevant. So for example, you might have a lot of experience in other things or other skills, but you're missing the ones that are very relevant for this job, or if you've omitted them, that's what I mean. So make sure that you highlight the things that are relevant for the job description, so that it's easier for the ATS to compare, and hopefully you can become a match. So yeah, that's it with the terminology. And that's, my advice in terms of how to go about to avoid being rejected because of terminology. And the next thing that you could be rejected for is because your CV cannot be read by ATS. So meaning the format of your CV is not readable from an ATS perspective. So, often people will have CVs that are complicated. It's got your picture on the one column and then your skills on the other column and your hobbies, etc. It looks good from a visual perspective, but it makes it complicated because you've got all these different compartments where you are showing things that are really not relevant, right? So if, for example, this ATS system is not looking to see how good you look in your formal way, it's just really trying to understand, do you meet the minimum requirements for this role? So what I would advise is that you do use an ATS-friendly CV template. I will post one example as well that you can use, but it's just generally going back to the days where, you'd write your CV in a Word document, very simple, making sure that it's easy to read in terms of all your different experience, different years as well. And also pick up your education and pick up your skills. So making it very simple. And yeah, that should also help you in terms of your CV then being readable. Because if it can't read your CV, forget about it. So already you got a 0 because it can't pick up what skills or who you are, where you are, what experience you have, what qualifications you have, etc. So those are the possible reasons that you could be rejected. I hope that you'll find this video useful, the links as well that I'll put on useful, so the JobScan one, as well as an example or a template for an ATS friendly CV that you can use. Obviously, if you Google, you can find other ATS friendly CVs, but I think that was just a big eye-opener for myself, that you could be rejected not because you don't have all the skills, but because you are cutting yourself short by how you're writing your CV as well. So all the best. I hope this is useful.